right. We'll start with introductions. Welcome, everyone. Chicago Auto Pros Podcast.
Thank you.
What's going on, guys? My name's AJ. I'm the head of sales here at Chicago Auto Pros. And we're here to talk about the differences in just a bunch of questions, really, about ceramic coatings, PPF, and window tint. So stay tuned.
I am Dan. I'm the Lombard sales manager. And I have Dom next to me.
Yep, I'm Dom. I'm the Glenview sales manager.
All right, cool. So this first one's going to be about ceramic coatings. We've been getting a lot of questions about ceramic coatings that you guys see in person and that we see online. So let's get started.
All right, so why don't we start off with, and maybe Dom and Dan, you guys can answer this. What is the difference between ceramic coating versus PPF?
So the main difference is what they protect from. Paint protection film is going to be more for physical damage, like rock chips and everyday use. Ceramic coating is going to be more for chemical damage, so like tree sap, bird dropping, stuff that can etch into your paint and leave stains.
Yeah, I agree. When a customer kind of is asking between the two, I just go into detail of what each does because they are two different products, like Dom said.
So then why don't we start off with that? Like, what would you tell somebody? So who is somebody that you think would rather have a ceramic coating rather than a PPF?
I would say somebody that bought a used car that already has some rock chips, that already has some deep scratches, things like that. I would aim them towards ceramic coating rather than PPF.
Yeah, I agree. A used car or maybe a car they don't plan on keeping as long.
Right.
2-3 years, something like that.
PPF is more of a permanent solution.
Long-term investment,
yeah,
for sure.
And again, it's designed for a car that is new, doesn't have much damage to it to protect it from getting that way.
Yeah, but I've definitely seen people who want to do a paint protection film anyway.
I mean, we get people that come by or call in that have questions about it, but when it comes to a car that's used, I mean, we like to kind of see it in person.
Yeah, and not to say that you can't do PPF on an older car. You definitely can.
Right.
The thought behind it is that it won't get any worse from then on. But you do have to realize that the imperfections aren't just going to go away. You're going to see them.
For me, it's setting that expectation too. Like we've done cars here at Lombard that already have rock chips, that already have damage, but if the customer's aware that sometimes the PPF can kind of shine a light in those areas, and if they're cool with it, and they want to keep the car a while.
Yeah, it's all perspective.
It is. So,
as you said, it's not going to get any worse, so that's the good news.
True.
But
yeah,
you are going to see some imperfections. If you've got a car with 20,000 miles, you're going to have some blemishes on it.
So then what are the benefits over one or the other? Like if somebody was torn between the two, why would they pick one over the other?
I mean, it all depends what you're going for. Like I said, if you're keeping a car for 10, 20 years, this is your dream car, then definitely makes sense. Stick with the PPF. But if it's like, hey, I want to just keep it clean, ceramic coating's the way to go. Some people do both. It's a good way of doing it. Get the best of both worlds, but
situational.
Yeah, I would agree. But is there any case where you guys would say one is better than the other?
I wouldn't say one is necessarily better at the other. They just do two completely different things. They're both two great options to keep your car looking and protected.
Yeah.
What do you guys go with? Because I know you have something on your car. What do you
I got both. And I mean, if you want the best option, both. I have a full front clip PPF and then crystal serum light and exo on the rest of my paint.
You want to say what car?
Oh,
you got
2021 Honda Accord Sport 2.0 turbo. It's a mouthful, but you got to make sure you put the 2.0 in there. It's not worth it.
Do you have anything on your car? On the truck?
No. I got a 90 Silverado, and the whole front end is just chrome and metal, so there's the paint protection film's not going to do anything.
I'm surprised you ain't got a coating on it.
I got to do some body work on one of them. Well, I have two Silverados.
Yeah.
One of them's got to do some body work first, and then we'll put a coating on it. The other one, I just wash it. Just keep it clean.
Yeah, and me, I've always been more along the lines of ceramic coating, just because of the way I am. I buy all my cars to drive them. So one, I have a 2019 Toyota 4Runner, and then I've got a 23 GR Corolla. And I'm the type of person that buys the car that I like, but I drive the living hell out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so for me, PPF is more of a inevitable. Like, I know I'm going to damage it, and I personally don't want to go through the hassle of redoing the coating and then redoing the film as well. Like, I'm not the type of person to lose sleep over rock chips.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody with a GT3 might have a different case, right?
Definitely.
It's like, I just spent $200,000 on this car. No way am I getting a rock chip.
Yep.
Versus my $50,000 Corolla.
Right.
$5,000 Silverado.
There you go. It's all perspective. If I had a GT3, absolutely. PPF, ceramic coating,
Full car.
everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So PPF costs more than ceramic coatings.
Yes.
So if there's a customer who's on the fence, like, which way would you steer them? Like, if all things being equal, say it's like a run-of-the-mill, hey, I got a BMW M3.
Mm-hmm.
I drive it sometimes, but not a lot. And I'm just like, I'm trying to decide between one or the other. Which way would you try to steer them?
If they're like on the fence for, say it's a brand new
It
car.
could go either way.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Yeah.
So brand new car, I always try to push for paint protection film because your car's never going to be that perfect again. It's OEM paint. You can always get stuff repainted, but it's never going to be OEM paint. So I always push them to do at least paint protection film on like your front bumper if it's a lower car like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, ceramic coating is, just to help keep it clean and, protect from the chemical damage too. Assuming if you have an M3, you like cars, you like to clean your car, you park in a parking lot and walk backwards into the store. So a ceramic coating it's going to help you to keep it clean, make it easier to clean. So I push for that as well.
And you can definitely tell when a car is coated driving down the street.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a jet black car driving down the street, and it's just got a different type of shine, right? It's a lot better, like a ceramic coating versus a ceramic spray is a completely different ballgame. You can definitely see the difference between the two in terms of the depth of the paint. And that's kind of where I'm more along the fence of, is like, I like seeing the depth in the paint.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys seen customers come in with like a ceramic spray? Like, how does that look from your guys' end?
I mean,
In my opinion, I think it just looks like a spray on wax.
yeah.
Like,
They do.
It doesn't really do much. It shows like the hydrophobic in the beading, but after a car wash, like, it's gone.
Yeah.
True.
So with that Silverado, the 90, I do like a ceramic spray after every wash, but you can tell by the second wash, it's gone. So
Yeah.
you got to just keep lathering it up with that. But I just do that because it's an older car, and correcting it's going to take a while. So,
Honestly, nowadays, when it comes to getting new cars in the shop, like straight from the dealership, a lot of dealerships are adding that ceramic sealant package to the deal. So when we get a car in the shop, we can tell the difference between a car that's been just ceramic sealant at a dealership compared to when we're done with it. They just look different.
And I tell customers all the time, like, be careful from what dealerships are selling you, because that's what they're selling you as a sealant rather than, and they're passing it off as a ceramic coating.
It's usually just a dude in the prep bay that sprays some sealant and wipes it off.
And it costs
That's
just
it.
as much
Yeah.
for us to do the ceramic coating as they do the sealant.
I talked to a guy last week. He had bought a brand new Raptor, and the ceramic sealant was $3,500 from Ford.
Yeah,
Dude.
And it's somebody just in the prep bay using a $30 bottle of ceramic sealant.
yeah, they're done
It's
with it by
crazy.
the time they're done with the paperwork.
That's
Wild.
nuts.
Yeah, there's zero prep work with those. Obviously, it's like painting a house. Like you gotta prep the surface and make sure it's, as perfect as you can get it before you put a coating on.
Compared to a dude with a rattle can
Exactly,
spraying around
yeah,
the
just
kitchen and
spray
living
around,
room.
wipe it on,
Exactly.
wipe it off. Which,
Yeah. There you go.
The I got a guy mentality
Exactly.
is not going to work
Yeah.
for
True.
ceramic coatings.
Yeah.
Not for that.
Well, you got me now, so you do got a guy.
True. True.
Well, me and Dan. Sorry.
True. You're fine. Well, it depends on if you're in the Glenview area
Yeah,
or the Lombard
exactly.
area.
Yeah.
Do you guys see a lot of customers come in where it's like, hey, I got a ceramic coating somewhere else and it's not not up to my standard. Like,
Yeah.
That often, because I know we see that for PPF.
Oh, that's
yeah.
way more often.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
but-
I mean, that does happen. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
No. You're good. Yeah, no, you definitely see it. The main thing, like the most noticeable thing that you can see is the prep work that they took before putting on their coating is, light scratches, swirl marks, all stuff that can be corrected out was just not touched or
Yeah.
in
And
some cases made worse.
I think
depending
that
on
makes
where
or
you go.
breaks an install is
Yeah.
the work that you do beforehand.
It's the prep.
Yeah.
Because the
sure.
coating is just an enhancer. It enhances what the paint looks like now.
Right.
So if the paint looks shit and you put coating on there, it's not going to be the
It's
best
shiny.
install.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a polished turd is what it is.
Exactly.
Plus, like when a car comes in that's been quickly coated somewhere else, they didn't maybe tape off all the plastics. You got some wax left in the edges and corners. You know you're not going to get that kind of stuff here.
So what about the customers that come in asking about ceramic coatings or graphene coatings?
I mean, we install ceramic. The graphene, I don't know a ton about it. I don't know. We hear it from time to time, but it's, I more or less, it's a fancier word.
Yeah,
Is what you're paying for.
it's more expensive. It looks cool because it's black, right? But we've done testing in the past,
Yeah.
and we just found that it was just inconsistent.
Yeah.
Right, and that's kind of what we want to offer people, the most consistent stuff, which is why we've stuck with the G-Technic coatings.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, you know what to expect. If something went wrong with it, you can almost tell, like, this is exactly what happened. We know exactly what to do to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean-
we're always, sorry.
No, you're
Go
fine.
ahead.
You're fine. I was gonna say. I mean, we've tested how many different coatings and different solutions and
Yeah, at
we
one
keep
point we
coming
offered.
back.
Yeah, at one point we offered like 6 different coatings to people.
the Modesta.
Yeah. It was just
bunch
a
of different
bunch.
Ceramic Pro.
And I think the
different-
biggest concern for a lot of the installers, at least, was just how inconsistent the formula was.
Yeah.
Because every time they change the formula, it changes the install process.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're always, like, constantly testing, whether it be window tint or
Yeah.
paint protection film or ceramic coatings. We're always testing stuff. So that's kind of why you see us change, products sometimes.
Sure.
Like we used to install Formula One window tint, which
Mhm.
we'll get to window tint. But,
Lumar.
Or, Lumar. Now we're on Expo, just
Mm-hmm.
because we're always trying to have the best product out there. So when you say graphene, we've tried it, but
I just
ceramic
wouldn't feel
is
right
better. Yeah, it's the
How
ceramic.
inconsistent it is and how much more expensive it is than ceramic coatings.
Yeah.
You know, too, I've never heard a customer come in saying, "I've got a graphene coating."
That's a good
never.
point.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, neither have I.
So
No,
it's not that popular.
No, I've definitely heard the question of, like, what's the difference between the two?
I've heard the question, but I've never heard somebody say,
And based off of the testing that we did, I'm pretty sure we tested on my brother's car too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
we put some graphene on there.
"Is a cord." Yeah, I
And-
remember those videos. Yeah.
It wasn't as consistent. You know, the ceramic coatings
No.
that we're using now just held up better, especially in the Chicago winter, the Midwest winter, really.
Yeah, and his car was a daily driver. He was driving that every single day. I don't know if he parked it outside.
Yeah,
he
he
did
parked
for
outside.
a while. Long story there. No, he had it outside. He was parking outside and washed it regularly. Not as crazy as some of us are washing our cars every other day, but yeah.
I mean, it was a real world test, so.
Yeah, that's
And I'll
exactly
tell
what
you,
it was. That was very real world.
my nephew
real
is
world.
not the cleanest kid out there, so he's got to deal with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that test we noticed the G-Technic coatings were
So let's
head
say
and shoulders above
There we go.
Yeah.
just about every other coating out there, and there was 20, 25 coatings on
Yeah,
there. I want to
we-
say.
I
Something
think we
like
tried
that.
25.
Something like that. Yeah.
So why don't we get into like how somebody would take care of a ceramic coating, right? Is it just hand washes or is it ceramic coating and touchless car wash?
So I always say hand wash only. If you're in a pinch, you can go through a touchless one, but you're gonna want to do.
Like I'm
all
guilty
them.
of it.
Yeah, you do like the most basic one. Like a lot of them advertise like hot wax. Stay away from that. Coating's gonna kind of reject that, and it could cause it to stain. But yeah, hand wash only. I always recommend doing it. You know, in the summer you can do it like every other week. In the winter, I like to do it once a week. That's just me. But yeah, if you're parking in the garage, you can kind of prolong that. But yeah, hand wash only, and then something we always recommend doing is an annual coating maintenance, so decontamination of the coating. A lot of people, when they see a coating, they think nothing's sticking to this when they see the water beating off of it. Eventually stuff does stick to it, especially with how they treat the roads here in Chicago, or the Chicagoland area.
Definitely.
So just to kind of decontaminate everything, and then when we do our coating maintenance, we always recoat all the glass, just because that's, no matter what coating you go with, that's always kind of the first thing that starts to go, just from wiper blades rubbing up against it and window seals going up and down. Yeah, exactly. Completely different coating. So we always recoat all the glass with that. But then that also gives us the opportunity to kind of monitor it and make sure, you know, this is acting as it should, or yeah.
It's like a physical that you take once a year.
Yeah.
You know, you go see the doctor just to see the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what the coating maintenance is. I tell people, too, like, it's recommended you do it annually, but if you don't need to do it in a year, wait another year. You know, if it's doing completely fine, wait another year.
Yeah, if it's, like I said, a GT3, obviously you're not plowing through the snow in that. So
some people might. I want to one day.
Some.
Yeah, if you're only driving it half the year, you can do it every other year. That's what I always say.
Yeah, I tell customers like it's like a doctor checkup. I say that to customers when they pick up their car.
So why don't we get into, like, when do you have to redo a coating? Like, when does somebody, you know, they call you and ask, when do I know I have to get a coating redone?
So that's where I always stick with the coating maintenance, just so, like, if they're worried that, all right, we did this coating 3-5 years ago, something like that, I usually say, hey, bring it in, let us do a wash on it here and just kind of monitor it and see what we're working with. If it's like totally flat, no water's beating off of it, it's just sheeting, then yeah, probably time to start just recoat and start fresh.
And for a lot of people, like, a lot of your problems are solved if you just wash your car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a story of I won't name the customer, but it was a Tesla Model X. We did a lower level ceramic coating on there, so it was the G-Technic Crystal Serum Light with the EXO coating. And with all the information that we have out there, and all the information that we have about taking care of the car that we give you, we even give you a packet.
Yep.
You know, after your ceramic coating's done, that gives you all the information, how to take care of it and everything. We also invite you back in 2 weeks to kind of do like an initial checkup, make sure we did our jobs right, make sure the coating's working fine. This individual did not come back for the 2-week checkup wash. He called us 2 years later to do a coating maintenance, and for some reason he thought that he just didn't have to wash the car at all. So for 2 years he didn't wash the car at all. And hey, he also said that he took it on a bunch of road trips. So hey, if you're taking your car on road trips and not washing the car at all, yeah, the coating is going to be gone.
Yeah.
Get PPF.
You know, it's a whole thing. I think he did get PPF eventually, but for some reason he thought you just didn't have to wash the vehicle at all. So, you know, we did redo it. But as long as you're keeping up with, you know, a good routine, what at the very least I tell people, because I know everybody's got busy lives, at the very least do a good hand wash once a month. At the very least.
That's minimum.
Bare minimum.
You should be doing it more.
I would say like once every other week, so twice a month is perfect. But at the very minimum, do once a month.
I think that's a myth out there. I got a coating, I don't have to wash it, because I've heard people say that before to me.
That was the first time I've witnessed it.
Well, witnessing it is different.
Because it was around the time, he was probably one of my first customers when I first started working here. And then 2 years come by, I've grown with the company, I've grown in the industry, and he comes back and I'm like, what is going on here? What did you do to your car?
It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to do like a traditional wax, you're still going to end up washing your car in between your waxes. So it's same concept.
So a question I get a lot too is like, how long does a ceramic coating last? And I think that really depends on the coating you choose to go with.
That's it.
Right?
That's it. Which product are you choosing?
Yeah,
That's it.
Exactly. We offer a 3 to 5 year level coating, which is the G-Technic Crystal Serum Light, and then we offer a 7 to 9 year level coating, which is the G-Technic Crystal Serum Ultra. Yeah, and then if you want it closer to that 5 years or closer to that 9 years, you want to pair whether it be the light or the ultra with the exo coating. It's just what's recommended.
Yep. Yeah, sort of a topper for it. Really help prolong the life of it.
If you want it to be like sexy, spray the hose on there and the water just falls right off, then yeah, you're going to want to put the exo on there. Right? It does a really good job on its own without the exo. When you put the exo on there, it's evident that you have a ceramic coating on there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what most people are going for. Like when they see it on social media, you know.
And that's the question I ask too when I'm talking to people is like, well, let me get a gauge of what you think a ceramic coating is, right? And if they give me that explanation, I'm like, hey, we're guilty of it too. We'll showcase our professional level ceramic coating just because it looks nice, it looks sexy, the water falls right off. If that's what you're looking for, then yes, Crystal Serum Ultra is the way to go.
Yep. Plus, I've noticed like because I got my car, I bought it from Honda with obviously nothing on it, and then we did Crystal Serum Light, and then a year later we did exo on top of it, and nobody, like especially when I first bought my car, nobody would really compliment me on the car, but now even Greg, the owner, will like stop and turn around and
Like,
tell
damn,
me to come out.
that's a clean car.
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
It shines different.
And that's what I mean
Definitely.
about like you can tell when a car has an actual ceramic coating on there.
Yeah.
Right. And for whether you be a car guy or just a person who's, detail oriented, you see a car driving down the street and the sun hits it in a certain way and you're like, damn, that car looks good.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Right. And most of the time it actually does have a ceramic coating on there.
But again, like you said, it's the prep, the paint correction, and then the coating on top of it to seal it all in pretty
yeah.
looking.
Oh yeah.
It's key.
So as far as like ceramic coating goes, like what parts of the vehicle get coated?
That's a question that came up yesterday. I saw someone DM'd us.
I think that's because not all shops are created equally. Some shops only do painted surfaces, and depending on what job you go with us, depends on what you get. But you can do the paint only, or our full exterior, you get all the painted surfaces, all the plastic trim, door jambs, glass, rim faces, or wheel off with caliper and barrel, depending on what.
Yeah, and the right way to do
Job
it is
you
the
go.
full exterior.
That is the
Yeah.
right way.
Right.
Yeah.
We have a painted surface as only option. You don't really see that too often because if you're going to do this, you're typically wanting to do the right thing.
Yeah, I was just thinking of our the special that we had out recently that was paint only. That's the one reason I brought that up.
Yeah,
Usually
and-
we do full exterior.
And that's where a special would be warranted is like, hey, if you don't want the full exterior done, we've got this special going
Right.
on.
Right.
But if you want to do it the right way, we're going to coat your wheels, we're going to coat your glass, we're going to coat your trim, all the paint. If you got paint protection film on there, we'll coat over the paint protection film too.
All that.
Yeah. And when I started here, I was in the prep bay, washing cars and prepping cars. And
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, Dom used to wash all your cars.
That's a
Yep,
fact.
yep. That's why they look so good. Washing a car that's coated, especially with like the wheels, is a night and day difference. So having it on your wheels, when you get like BMWs are really bad with it.
Range Rovers.
Spokey.
Yeah, Range Rovers.
real
yeah.
spokey
yeah,
M
well,
cars?
no, just throwing brake dust.
Oh, yeah, true, true.
Any
so, yeah.
sport-oriented pad, like the GR Corolla, I'll go for a drive for 2 minutes, and the wheel is caked in brake dust.
They emit a lot of brake dust. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so washing a car that has your wheels coated is huge. Like that's the most annoying
Absolutely.
part
big
to
difference.
clean. That and drying the car is the most annoying part of your
Sure.
car wash. So I can tell you firsthand, washing a car that's coated, especially like fully coated, like glass and everything, it's a night and day difference. It makes it so much easier.
I agree.
Yeah, and if you're washing it the way we wash it, like we pay attention and we even like wipe the door jambs down. Like having the door jambs coated is, I never knew it was a thing that I needed to do, but it's something that I feel like I need on every single car now.
My car, actually, funny enough that you bring that up, my car, that's where most of the dirt gets caught.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
same with
Because
me.
I have like door sills, you know what I mean, rocker panel kind of, like rocker panel set up on mine, so the dirt just kind of gets caught on both the door sills.
And it just stays in there.
Yeah.
One that drives me nuts is like Escalades and Suburbans have that piece of glass that flips up.
Oh, yeah.
Like without
Yes.
opening the
Oh, and you
entire
got to
trunk.
get in the jam.
That jam is always wrecked.
Or like his 4Runner. I think his 4Runner does that, don't it?
No, you do. Yours
the window,
goes down.
The window goes up and down.
Yeah.
But when you open up the hatch, like if you don't get the top corner, it just builds up.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
That kind of goes with not all shops are created equally.
See, that's
Like,
it.
you
No,
could
but
have,
I'm nuts. Like all of us are nuts. People would think we're nuts.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that all of us have OCD, ADHD, some mixture
Oh, yeah.
of...
Like if you look at my car right
oh, yeah,
now,
all of us have something. Yeah.
so I just did an 18-hour drive, and if you look at the inside of my 4Runner right now, to the normal average person, it's not bad at all. For me, I feel like it's filthy.
Yeah.
Like all my cars on the interior, I'm a big interior guy too.
Okay,
Like it
okay.
has to look like it's still in the showroom.
Yeah.
How about when you see like a car out and the whole thing is full of just garbage and random shit? That's the worst, ain't
I've
it?
learned to accept it, that that's just how people are, and
Yeah.
I'll just move on.
That's fair.
Like I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, sorry for you, man. I'm sorry that you have that mentality in your life.
Tough.
Yeah. You got any Bucky's Nuggets on the floor there on the way here?
Absolutely not, dude. That's the only time
Ate
you're
'em all.
allowed. That's the only time you're allowed to eat in my car is if we're on a road trip.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair.
Otherwise, nope. You're gonna wait till we get home, and then you can eat.
See, I'm a
Yeah.
psycho on the exterior.
I'm both,
I'm
but the
definitely
interior
a
is
psycho
what
with the
like
exterior.
is a big thing for me. Like my room too.
Okay, yeah, that makes
Like
sense.
me and my wife, we've got her side of the room and we've got my side of the room.
Okay.
My side of the room, all the books are laid out nicely. All my stuff is laid out nicely. If you move something, I know you've moved something.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Whereas hers, everything is just, I won't even say, but it's not
fair.
like my side of the room.
It's the same thing with me and my fiance. Same.
But my
Same-
side of the
same
room
exact thing.
is the same with my car.
That's fair.
Everything's got its own place. Everything looks clean.
Yeah.
That's just so tough,
My-
like keeping your interior clean though. Like
No.
we have
Yeah.
coatings for
No,
that,
it's-
right? Too.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
do.
do. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Mainly for like spills, just to kind of keep stuff on the surface. Like,
A lot of it is for helping with wear over time. So, like the leather coating
Mhm.
helps with abrasion.
Mhm.
It makes it slicker. So a lot of times, and some conditioners do it too. When you like get an interior detail and we condition the leather, you'll notice when you sit in that you almost kind of slide in on the leather. The coating just keeps that property for a lot longer.
Mhm. Yeah, another thing that helps with interior is, which we'll get to, is window tint. It's
It's a big thing
all,
too.
yeah.
Oh, it's a huge thing.
UV protection. You know, I had a truck that was very notorious for like having cracked dashes. If you're in the truck game, second gen Dodge. And yeah, I think if you had that back in like 01, all those dashes would probably be fine.
Same
they
with
were
all
kind of
the
defective from the factory.
240s and stuff. I'm a big JDM car guy, and like it's notorious if you buy a 240 that hey check the dash, make sure it's not cracked,
Mhm.
because 99% of them are going to be cracked when you
Yeah.
buy them.
And for the domestics, the C5 and C6 Corvette,
Yeah.
those are
Oh,
again,
those are
notorious
crazy. Yeah,
for
those are
dash
crazy when they
issues.
crash
Mhm.
or when they
Tough.
crack. I think Kirby was tinting one last year doing the windshield, but it decided to pop
Yep,
while we had it.
Yeah.
Like
tough.
the guy
remember
just
that.
waited just long enough to where it was gonna pop. But it was a leather wrapped dash. The leather, for some reason, the adhesive separated, and then the dash itself, you just hear a pop.
Yeah.
Tough.
That was a rough day for him.
That's
Yeah.
a bad one, yeah.
Yeah, and the UV rays from the sun just baking on, like, especially a dash like that where it's like right underneath the windshield. I mean, it's when you have like window tint like that protects from UV rays 99%. I mean, night and day difference with that.
I'm pretty sure when it comes time to do the window tint one, we're gonna be have no problem going for
Yeah.
hours.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
There's
yeah.
so much to
For
talk
sure.
about.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's the reason why, like, when people are restoring cars, they go Midwest for interior pieces because none of them are destroyed, but exterior pieces they will go down to Texas and Arizona.
Yeah.
But all
yeah.
the interiors down there are all just fried,
Cooked.
They're-
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a red
everything's all
interior. It's a
faded.
white now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing. But there's another question that customers ask us a lot is, like, why do I need a paint correction on a brand new car?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I wish I could show you. It was the most perfect example of this. A longtime customer of ours in Glenview just got a brand new Range Rover SV. Gorgeous car. J-Lo,
Sorry.
dude.
Brother.
Come on.
Sorry.
No.
Disrespectful.
Restart what you were saying.
So yeah, longtime customer of ours just got a brand new Range Rover SV, and the thing literally, he brought it in for window tint right away. The thing literally had, I think, 70 miles on the dash, and we washed it after we did the window tint, just complimentary. And we were looking at this thing, and we were like, "Oh my god!" So even a car that's brand new, a lot of times it depends what the dealer did to it. So we always tell people, like, if they call in and they say, "Hey, I'm getting a brand new car," I always say, "Hey, tell the dealer, just give you the keys. Just don't touch it, don't wash it." But it was like blatantly obvious that this dealer like went over it with like a rotary buffer, so there's just like
They put this
curly
like glaze
cues,
on there.
all over the car, and our customer didn't really notice it until, because he got it like, it was probably dark out. It gets dark at 4 o'clock now.
Yep.
He didn't really notice it until he got it to us, and we started pointing out like, "Hey, this is like wrecked here. Like, you need to correct this thing." So it depends what a dealer does to it. You know, your car might have 0 miles, but I mean, there's probably 1,200 transport miles on it coming from one side of the country to the other.
That's a good
So-
way to put it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Especially if the car's coming from overseas.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a proud Toyota owner. All my Toyotas have the JT serial or the VIN. JT means built in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So all of my Toyotas come from Japan, right? They gotta get built. They gotta get loaded onto the truck to get loaded onto the ship, to get on the ship, across the ocean, to the port. Then whatever customs got to do everything they got to do with it, and then they got to get put on a truck to get transported to the dealer
Or a train.
or a train.
Yeah.
Then it gets into your hands. Like, that's what a lot of people don't see is like, hey, this is a brand new car. Yeah, but they didn't just drop some water on it and then the car just magically appeared
Yeah.
in,
Right.
in the dealer. You know, it
right.
went through thousands of miles and hundreds of hands before
Yeah.
it got to you.
It's actually crazy to think about.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, that car was, I mean, it was a nightmare. And he actually literally called the dealer like while he was sitting in the shop. He's like,
course.
"Hey, you guys got to fix this."
Yeah.
Like,
That's the way to handle it. Yeah.
yeah. So new cars, I mean, as long as the dealer doesn't touch it at all, because more times than not, they're creating more work than they think they're doing. But
And
yeah.
I'll tell people this from experience. Like, I bought a showroom car. So my GR Corolla was on the showroom, which are typically the worst cars to buy. If you're like detail oriented in the detail industry or anything, because they're just out on display.
It's true.
People, they leave the doors unlocked. People walk up to it, look at it,
Touch it.
touch it. Thankful for me, it had only been on the showroom for I think a week before I bought it. But I literally told them, like, just leave it as it is. They even let me drive it out.
Heck yeah.
So it was just like, all right, we understand what kind of person you are. You know, just we'll leave it alone as is. Leave the plastics, leave everything.
Nice.
You know, they left all the the stickers that you have to take off when it
on the
arrives from
windshield?
port. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Like,
know
they
those,
left
yeah.
everything on there.
Good.
And I was like, all right, good. I'm gonna take care of everything. Just
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
touch it.
Plus,
Yeah.
like those showroom cars, a lot of the times the preppers will just take one of those California dusters to make it
Oh yeah.
less dusty, but they're putting real small surface scratches.
Yeah.
And I got a
Exactly.
story just off the top of my head, just like Dom's. I got a customer, I won't name him, but I got a good customer that comes to the Lombard location. He's got a decent collection of Ferraris, and the last one we had in our shop was an 812 GTS. And even a $600,000 Ferrari like that still comes in.
I
light
always found the
scratches.
Ferraris to be the worst because they're all hand painted.
That's
Yeah.
that it. And then they also have a in-house detailer at the Ferrari dealership that just does like a quick little buff
Yeah,
and
once
polish.
over.
They don't pay them that much.
See, that's the thing. We get the car to us, and it's a level 1 paint correction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A brand new Ferrari. It had like 8 miles on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Well, there's a reason that shops like us still exist, and we're
course.
not the only ones out there.
True.
But we are the ones that have a very defined definition of what quality means.
Right.
And little things that other places will let slide, we just don't let slide.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's facts.
yeah, it's Yeah, I see it all the time with the new cars. The American cars are very soft paint usually.
Yeah, I would agree.
And a lot of times when they deliver these cars, they'll get dropped off in the rain, and the dealer's going to run it through their automatic car wash, and right there, it's
Boom.
I think we have a video on a car we did a perfect paint correction on, and then we ran it through a car wash, and you saw all the imperfections and just from one tunnel car wash. So
It's rough. There's a reason that they have a sign. No matter how small or how hidden it is, there's always a sign that says they're not liable for any damage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just look for it. You'll find it every single time.
Yep.
I think legally they have to have some
Because they
notification.
know it's going to damage the car.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
A car wash, those car washes, they make their money off of volume. They're just trying to get more cars in as much as they can.
They want those monthly subscriptions and just burn thousands
Yeah.
of cars every day. Yep.
I think I used to work at in high school at a car wash like this before I knew about all this and wasn't as picky. I think it costs literally 5 cents to run one car through, and it's like a $30,
Yeah, and
run
it's
through.
rough. And we deal with it all the time where people will or they had just gotten a ceramic coating done with us, and then they take it to the dealer for service, and the dealer runs it through the automatic car wash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They'll either get scratches or it'll chip the paint in some point. And that's a
Okay.
question that we get a lot too, is touch-up paint included with, we have 2 paint correction services. One's called exterior enhancement, and then one's just a paint correction. And
Paint correction.
well, yeah, as
close to
perfect as
yeah.
we can get it,
Yeah.
really. But the question of hey, is touch-up paint included in that? No, touch-up paint is
No.
a whole different thing.
It is.
It's
When it comes to that, we prefer the customer gets a bottle of touch-up that matches the VIN number at the dealership, and then I believe our charge is $120 for normal touch-up, and then I think it's $60 extra an hour or something.
120.
So it's
I think
extra.
it starts at
It's extra.
$60.
It starts at if it's just one, then yeah, hey, $60. We'll charge you half an hour for it, right? Because I got to
Whatever
pull
the
out the
price is.
tools,
That's it. Yeah.
prep it, and then
Yeah.
do it. If I'm looking at it and it's hey, or if my detailer looks at it too, and he's hey, it's not going to take more than an hour, right?
Yeah.
120, that's all it is.
Right.
But I usually recommend people if it's longer than 2 hours worth of work, it's probably not going to be worth it. Just get it repainted.
Yeah.
It's a Band-Aid.
Yeah,
I've seen them work some magic on it.
I've definitely seen some
like,
magic.
for sure.
Our guys are really freaking good at it.
They are, definitely.
But yeah, a lot of times, someone will bring in one that's, hey, can you do touch up on this? And
But
it's
imagine, if it's
covered
more than
out.
2 hours worth of work, that's a lot of rock chips.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's that's
At that point, just repaint it.
Yeah.
Get a fresh
Yeah.
start.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is random. Might get cut out of the video. But can ceramic coatings save you've ever seen a southern Florida clear coat gone type
Yeah,
of
look
car?
at the roof of my truck.
Paint fade.
Yeah.
You're referring to paint fade.
Yeah, can a ceramic coating save that?
So ceramic coatings do have UV inhibitors built into them, and I will say it helps prevent it, but I don't think it's going to completely eliminate the issue.
No, you don't want to just get a ceramic coating and then park your car in the driveway all year round in Arizona and just expect the coating to.
Yeah, it can't
the same.
replace a clear coat.
It
No.
depends on depends on the paint. So before I said GM and American paint is typically pretty soft. The roof of my truck, GM paint in the 90s was nothing special. I think some cars were even recalled for paint.
I believe it. I believe it.
So yeah, it depends on the car, I think. But yeah, if you're in Arizona and just ripping in the sun all day, every day, prolonging the inevitable is what you're doing.
So yes, it has UV protection, but
But it
you
doesn't
still
fix the problem.
You still got to take good care of your.
Ceramic coatings are not bomb-proof.
No.
And there's a certain company out there that will be unnamed, but there was some marketing going around of beating a car with a hammer with a ceramic coating or setting a car on
Yes.
fire.
Stupid. I've
Please
seen
don't do
those.
that to your car.
Yeah, don't do
It
that.
will not protect against that.
No. Yeah, you see the clip where they light the hood on fire? Stupid. Don't do that.
So don't do that. If it's a car you're just getting rid of and making some YouTube content, then yeah, go ahead and light it on fire. But if
Yeah.
you're thinking that ceramic coating is going to protect it, no, absolutely
Yeah.
not. You know, what I tell people a lot is like ceramic coatings will help the paint age and weather a lot better.
It's a good
But
way
the
to put
key is it's still going to age and weather. It's just going to be a lot better in the long term.
it. Yeah, better being the key.
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not bomb proof.
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna pull more social media myths out of my ass right here, but
All right.
um,
Lay it on.
I've seen some mobile detailers start ceramic coating in driveways.
Mm.
I'd imagine that's not like we have a clean room. Why would that, in your guys' mind, not be a good idea? Obviously contamination, but
Yeah.
There's so many variables.
like is it just
Yeah,
is it
contamination,
doable?
and when they're applying it, they're taking like a sponge and basically going over like a 1 foot by 1 foot panel. You know,
Play
until
that
you get
B-roll.
It's definitely doable. However, there's certain ceramic coatings like certain type of climates. Right? So if it's super humid out, you might have some trouble with the
Yeah.
coating because it's going to sweat.
Maybe some streaks, high spots.
Exactly.
Issues, yeah, sort of issues
so
like that, yeah.
doing it in a nice temperate environment is always the best case. And
Yeah.
luckily for us, we can do it year round, right? Just because we have the
Yeah.
clean room.
climate controlled. And
But even before we had the clean room, like I just remember frustrations of our detailers. One who will be unnamed as well that used to get really mad when things didn't go his way. It was super humid in the shop. We've got all the bays filled with cars. Buffers are going. Air's running. Air compressor's going. And you just see not only is he sweating, but the car is sweating super hard.
Yeah.
And we were installing, I believe it was Ultra.
yeah,
Ultra does not like humidity. Or even worse, when we were installing a different coating where it was like one part wet app and then the other part it was with the coating. Like that was always a nightmare to do when it was humid out.
Makes sense.
Like there's just certain, you can do certain things in driveways, but there's, if you're wanting to do like a professional level coating, please don't do it in your driveway.
I think a big part of it too is lighting. I think that plays a big part because yes, okay, let's say if it's a bright sunny day in the summer and you're doing it in the driveway, but still in certain areas where the shade hits, you're not going to get
Yeah.
the coverage that we can with our fluorescent lights. all over the
Shadows will
shop.
hide a lot.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking.
So now that we're on the topic of that too, because we went over paint correction, why that's important. But I've also seen like DIY ceramic coatings, and
Yes.
I've tried one, and I think it worked. And for context for our viewers, I'm not a sales guy here. I do marketing, and I know how to make our stuff look good and show off these guys, but I don't know the ins and outs. And I tried it on my Mustang back in high school, and I thought it looked killer. I'm probably really wrong, but have you guys seen
It
that?
depends. Like you can definitely do a good job doing it in your garage or on a driveway. But it depends on what, and this, I tell people this all the time. It's more about who's doing the work rather than what they're doing the work with.
Yeah.
Yep.
In certain cases, like the G-Technic Ultra, like there's a reason that we have to get certified to do that. There's a reason that you have to get vetted to be able to even order it.
Yeah, you can't buy Ultra on Amazon.
No.
They don't sell the professional
Like the
level
stuff
coatings
that you buy on Amazon,
That's true.
if you're going to go for it and you want to give it a shot, okay, go for it. But like we mentioned in the beginning, what makes or breaks an install is going to be the prep work beforehand.
Yeah.
100%.
Right? Because it's easy enough to slap a coating on a car, wait, wipe it off.
Yeah.
Right? But if the paint underneath doesn't look good before you do that, what's the point of doing it? You're
Yeah.
just going to get a car that bleeds water. It still
Yeah.
looks like crap.
I just realized I never wiped it off. When you said that,
Oh,
Well,
you
I
just
was like,
applied
yeah.
it? You just applied it and then just...
dude, their instructions were in Chinese. I
Brother.
was following pictures.
That,
When you
that
said
checks
that, I
out.
would like, I'll replay the footage. But when you said wipe it off, and I was like,
Oh,
You're supposed
I
to
did
wipe it
not
off.
wipe that
yeah, you got
You know?
it. Yeah.
I've seen in Glenview like a bunch of times where people do like a DIY one and they'll bring it to us and say, hey, can you fix this? There's like this streak, and those are high spots. And you pretty much have to like buff them off to get them
Yeah.
off. Because once that coating's on there, it's on there.
Buff, recoat.
Exactly, yeah. So if you don't have the proper lighting, what I was saying before with like they're hand applying it with like an applicator pad, if you're doing it in a driveway, there's going to be dust and
Yeah.
stuff floating around no matter.
There's so many variables.
Yeah, you're just
really
rubbing
is.
that over the freshly corrected surface that you just did. So yeah, it's doing it outside is not
It's not
conducive
recommended.
to, yeah.
Is it doable? Absolutely. Anything's doable.
Yeah.
Right.
How much headache do you want to go through to make it the right product for you?
Also, I think if you want to get the proper life expectancy out of a coating like the ones we offer, you need to let us do it with the proper prep.
We just know what we're doing is all.
Yeah.
You'll get that
That's why
3
we're
to
here.
5, 7 to 9. You'll get that if you take care of it.
Yeah, when you said you applied that, you said, I think it looks good. When you come here, you know it's going to be good.
That's it.
Yeah, I didn't wipe it off, and I think that thing lasted maybe one summer. I was impressed because I didn't know, before I worked here, I didn't know ceramic coatings lasted up to 3-5
Yeah.
years.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like a once-a-year thing, but I guess that's a really good sealant.
Mm-hmm.
No, it really depends on, one, the life of the car and the individual taking care of that certain
Yeah.
car.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because like we mentioned, ceramic coatings are for a very specific type of person.
They are.
And if you, like me, for example, if I walk into my car and I see a little piece of grass that's on my floor mat, like
Yeah.
I start freaking out.
It's fair.
Like, this has to go.
Yeah.
I can't drive this car until this thing is out.
It's fair.
No, you definitely see it too, and we have some wash members in Glenview, and you do here as
Mhm.
well. And I know you've seen some of them who got a coating with us, who still bring their car back, every other week for a car wash.
Mhm.
I mean, we coated their car 5+ years ago.
Yeah, I've seen
And
a
it's
3-year
still,
coating
some of
last
like-
6 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got
it's
some of those too.
still, so it's the
It's the
I'd say
care.
something I'm not gonna, but
It's the
Well,
care.
So this is for some
the archer,
reason,
not the arrow.
this is for some reason a frequently asked question, but how does a coating get removed? Which I guess you wouldn't really remove it.
Abrasion.
Yeah, abrasion.
Mhm.
Abrasion is the only way to remove it. So something as light as a polish, like a basic level polish, will
Yep.
start removing the ceramic coating.
That's
Yeah.
enough.
So have you guys had a customer ask for that? Like
To
in the
Coating
shop?
removal?
To
Yeah, like,
remove a
hey,
coating?
can you remove this? Or?
High spots, yeah, when they do like a DIY one.
Or the dealership throws some crap on there.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and you
what
see
sometimes,
this
yep.
smudge that just
Well,
doesn't come off.
I've never gotten the question of, can you remove my coating? I've gotten the question of, hey, the dealer put this coating on there and I want to get an actual coating done. How do I remove it? And my answer to them is, hey, our prep process, it's going to get removed anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because we're going to do, we're going to do the decon wash, we're going to clay it, we're going to polish it, we're going to
Yep.
correct it, and then
By
we're
then-
going to put the coating on.
By then, you're clear. Yep.
Even maybe even the clay bar will start to remove
Can.
it.
Oh yeah.
Can.
Yeah, if you have an abrasive clay, yeah, it'll take it off. Especially a dealer applied one. I mean, it's
I mean, I wouldn't even, a dealer applied one, I would say it's probably like, just a spray on sealant is
Yeah.
all it is.
yeah, more times than not, yeah.
I don't know if we get a lot of can you remove this? But we'll get the question of, what does it take to remove it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what
I would say more of that.
we get that.
We definitely get more of that. We also get a lot of all right, how do I make sure it doesn't get removed? Well,
Mhm.
that's where, hey, don't run your car through an automatic car wash because that's abrasive,
Yep.
Mhm.
which is why we don't recommend it.
Yep.
Driving through sandstorms and stuff like that, not good.
Yeah, well, that's never good.
So if you ever get caught in a sandstorm, drive the
Chicago.
other way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
those,
never good.
those Chicago sandstorms will get you.
What about touchless?
Touchless, like we mentioned, like in a pinch, it's fine. I'm guilty of it.
Yeah.
Like I've done like a 4-hour drive and like I just couldn't stand looking at my car anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
The issue with touchless is they're starting to become a lot fewer than
Yeah, they're pretty few and far
They're hard to
between.
find.
Yeah,
people,
exactly.
people ask about them all the time, and
Yeah.
it's
There
you
was
gotta
4
kinda just
that I used to
find
go
'em,
to
like,
Yeah.
before I started working here.
in Glenview.
No, there was only one in Glenview. And it wasn't
It was-
even in Glenview.
Yeah, right
was
by
in
that-
Warren Grove.
Yeah, Golf and Waukegan on the
Ye-
south.
No, it's like Dempster in Harlem.
Touchless.
Yeah. I think it's called like Chicagoland Car Wash or something.
Oh,
It's a self-serve
yeah,
place.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, I know exactly which.
Yeah.
On the right side if you're heading south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was 3. So that was one of the 4 that I used to know about. And then there's 3 in the city. 2 I think are gone. And I haven't
Mhm.
been to the other one in many years, so I don't even know if it's still there.
When people ask here in Lombard, there's a place called 53 Touch Free in Elgin. That one's okay.
They're all the same. It's not so touchless, or I think it's known as laser car washes, because that's what it is. It's a laser that
Yeah.
It just
senses your
it,
car
yeah.
and it just sprays the car.
Yeah.
But those, they have their downsides. If the car is not coated, the issue is that the chemicals they use is super concentrated.
And
Right.
like he mentioned earlier, you could stain.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
be careful with that.
Yeah, it's the coating's gonna. If you do one that has like I said before, the hot wax, the coating's gonna reject that.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what it's designed to do. And yeah, once that just sits on your car, as soon as you pull outside into the sun,
Boom.
it just
Yeah.
bakes right on.
It's not the end of the world. It'll come out, but you'll look at a little splotch.
You should, if you're going to do touchless, which is when you're only in a bind, you should just do water and soap. The most basic touchless wash.
As long as the car's not too dirty. If you're like Dom and you go mudding, like
Well, that's a special
not
situation.
in the truck.
It's-
in the truck.
yeah.
We got a quad for that.
if it's dirty,
Pavement princess.
yeah. If it's really, I'm guilty of it, dude. I'm a mall crawler.
Yeah,
It's fine.
It's if the car's actually dirty, like just leave it dirty till you can actually get a hand car
Yeah.
wash.
I can't go mudding with the truck and then show up to work. Greg will,
That would, oh,
Greg
he'd be
will
mad. He'd
Get
be
out
mad.
of here.
Yeah, dude. That's how you park on the other side of the
Yeah,
building.
Yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
park somewhere we can't see you.
All right.
It's not for every car though, touchless. Like for example, mine, I'm on coilovers and I'm like 2.5 inches lower than stock. I'm hand wash only.
Yeah, but
My car.
touchless,
My
I could
dad's
damage
the
my
same
car.
way.
touchlesses don't usually have the
rails,
guide rails. No,
still like going into it and leaving it. Mine's
Yeah, it's like a
real
conveyor
low.
belt
I'm
kind of
sitting-
thing.
A lot
it
of-
just pulls you through it.
Oh,
Like
that
the tip
one-
that I have for
definitely
people-
not, but-
the tip that I have for people to look for touchless car washes is look for the self-serve places, because they'll have the self-serve bays, and then the last bay on the end will
Bingo.
be the touchless one.
That's a good point.
At least from my experience.
I haven't
Yeah.
been in one of those in years though. We're blessed to
'cause
where
we
we could
got
just
this.
we could just I could pull my car in the
exactly,
shop
yeah,
and close the
it's-
shop and wash it myself. But
I've seen Dan a couple Saturdays.
oh yeah, I'll
Sundays
come on the
here.
weekends. Yeah, man.
I used to do
got
it every
problems.
weekend.
I got issues.
Every weekend or after work. In the summertime, it used to be every day after work.
Yeah.
And
Every
there used
day?
to be a line of like the detailers or the
Everybody
the
trying to get their
preppers.
cars in before the weekend and
Yeah.
shit like that. It
It's
makes
like-
sense.
Or it got to like, hey, I'll help you wash yours if you help me wash mine.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the FAQs I got.
I think we covered everything there is to
Yeah.
cover about ceramic coating. Can you think of anything else we missed?
There's definitely going to be people that want us to get down to the science and stuff.
Next episode.
True,
Yeah.
we can.
Maybe we will.
Break out my lab coat. And we'll get into it.
I'll pay to see Dom in a lab coat and a whiteboard.
Yeah, exactly. You need the
No, maybe it would be
glasses
good to
you know.
maybe get somebody from G Technic.